All right, so we are back with another live stream, and I just realized and just commented on the last live stream I did that my video capture froze for the entire live stream, the whole thing. Thought my laptop was glitching, but you literally just saw this screen. Couldn't see me coding at all for 45 minutes, and I didn't once notice it. So today we're going to be a little more watchful of that. Last time we ended with coding in some of the UI components for changing the starting hole. Some of it is kind of up and working. I've been working on the back end of that, but it's not quite there. We got some bugs to fix, and I was going to just try to hammer them out tonight, and I was like, you know what? That's part of the process. Let's live stream it. And we'll make sure that you can actually see what I'm doing this time. Phone's moving with me, so that's a good start. So last time we added in this select a starting hole, and I went off camera immediately after doing that stream, tried to run a tournament, and it immediately crashed. Did not work at all. We're to the point now where when you're starting on the first hole, things work as normally, which is great. So if you're starting on hole 1, which is the only thing you could do, only thing you could do in this update, everything worked great until you get to the last hole. And if you started any other hole, essentially at hole 6, when hole 6 goes to hole 1, we're screwing things up. So I haven't even started digging into why that is. And I figured that's something that I would do on the stream. My goal right now is to get this in, get this fixed, up and running so you can select the right starting hole, and then implement a spacing fix kind of throughout the entire app. So for those of you that are on larger phone screens, which is not myself, but if you are on a larger phone screen, you'll notice that at the top of the screen, sometimes it's hard to hit this back button, sometimes it doesn't respond. And if you hit the very bottom of it, that's generally the only way you get it to work. That's a spacing issue. That's because the app itself is going up into the phone's taskbar up here, which is not intended. And that's causing some issues. And I didn't realize it until after launching, but it seems like there might be a pretty easy fix for that, where I just wrap everything in a widget of sorts in Flutter that protects it from expanding outside of the safe area, so outside of anywhere where it's not going to be accessible. It seems like an easy fix, but we got to get this starting whole thing working first. So right now in our leaderboard function, this is what happens when we're submitting a score. And so the first thing I'm doing is updating the score, and I added this new line here, which for a lot of reasons makes a lot of sense. I'm wondering if I just kick it down to the next one, if that fixes it. I don't think it does. I've got to think about this here. So previously when you couldn't select a starting hole, this code wasn't there. I'd update the hole so hole 1 would go to hole 2. So current hole equaling 1 would never get passed to our function here, which is calculating all the AI scores, hole averages, etc. But now I added this in here so the hole can be 1, and this entire block of code is set up to account for it already being greater than 1. The simple fix would be to just try to copy this down after the fact. Let's see if that fixes it. I'm not entirely sure. But instead of trying to think it out, it seems like the easiest solution is going to be to just copy it down below and see if that fixes it. So let's do a little reset here. We'll hit, no, just cancel. Yeah, okay. And then let's start a new event. Let's try the exact same thing we just did. Starting hole is 1. This still seems to work normally, which is great. Now if we get to hole 6, what happens? Are we good? No, we're not good. Did not fix. Okay. So I think I stand by this. If I make current hole equal to 2 here, does that? Then the current hole is equal to... We're going to try it. Let's see if this does the trick. All right, we're still following me so far. Let me move this so the webcam isn't blocking anything. Start a new event, hole 1. So right now I'm trying to make sure that everything that was working before, which was tournaments all starting from hole 1, still works. I'm trying to make sure that that's the case. And once that's the case, then we can start making sure that starting on new holes works. Does not. Okay, so now we just need the check to see if the tournament's over. And where does that typically run? Score input button. So if the tournament number of holes is less than what am I looking for here? Is this what I'm looking for? No. Here we go. If all scores 0 hole pars dot length is not equal to that, which it shouldn't be, then we should be going to round finished. If tournament variables all scores 0 hole pars dot length how did I have that set up? Did I just comment this out in the last one? I didn't even film it, or I filmed it, but it didn't capture it. This seems like something that maybe I commented out in my last section, whereas this needs to be -1. Then we need to go down to, where are we setting that? Score input button text. And then this one actually, all right, I need to not make the same mistake. Let's go to the Tour Life leaderboard and make sure I'm doing the same thing in both. Here we go. Hole length -1. I think that's what that should be. And then the score input button text, I'm thinking that here we need to instead pass the determine. So I guess let's comment it out. And this is, I was thinking about this. I haven't made a ton of progress because I've been thinking if there's a better way to do this entire thing. And I think there is. I'm a little too committed at this point. I think at some point in the future I could come back in and just rewrite the entire bit of code around this tracking the whole number thing, because this is just not very clean at all. Where's my score button? Nothing. Score input button. Here we go. I think this is the same thing. Yeah. And then this one needs to be determined tour life tournament variables dot all scores. Okay, let's try that. So the hope here is that that fixes this issue. The way that I was registering whether the round was over was still tied to the original current hole determination, which is obviously not what we're using anymore. So we need to make sure that that's showing the correct thing. This is still right. Start hole 3, start hole 4, start hole 5, start hole 6. Beautiful, finish round, lovely. Okay, so I think single hole or starting on hole 1 tournaments are working. And now let's try starting on hole 5. So we're starting on hole 5. This is a 6-hole course. So that's why it goes 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 with 4 at the end. Let's start entering scores. Expecting some errors here because nothing ever goes right the first time I do it. Here we go. There's our error. Kind of worked and then just didn't quite at the end. Let's come down here. Let's see what our error is. Invalid number. I don't think that's one I've seen before. At tournament leaderboard 508. What's this? At character 2. What's this current stroke counter? That's the score that I had. Okay. Hole pars. Previous hole. What is previous hole? That's this. Yeah. Hole pars. Previous hole -1. Should be equal to that. Previous hole -1. Current hole -1. Pin position tracker. I think I left that one as this too. I'm a little confused right now. So we're updating the current hole with the previous hole. So here we're starting on 5 and putting in the first one works. So then the next hole is 6. So now current hole is, so previous hole is 6, current hole is 2. Yeah, that's not gonna work great. Previous hole is 6, current hole is 2, but the goal 1 check needs to be run off of what the previous hole was. So maybe we base this still off of the previous hole. Best hole score is all we're looking for here. Hole pars is going to be the right value. Pin position tracker was always based on the current hole. So instead I think this needs to be previous hole plus 2 or -2. We're going to try this. And we'll see if this addresses the issue. Previous hole minus 2. And then let's do the same thing here. Previous hole. And then we need to do the same thing to this line of code. Previous hole minus 2. All right, now we can hit the reset. Start a new event. Let's go easy. Starting hole 5. Let's go MA4. Keep it real simple. 2. Crash. Invalid number at character 2. We're getting a different line of code this time, but it might be a similar issue. 509. It's not helpful at all. Tournament leaderboard 509 is column. The whole column is the issue. That's not really helpful. Let's try to run that again, see if it gives me a different. Maybe it was running off of the previous line numbers. I don't know. That's unusual though. $509. Oh, was I on the wrong? I was on the wrong file. So it's still giving me that goal 1 check. Not an inclusive range, 0 to -30. -1. Previous hole minus 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Where do I update the pin position tracker? Here? No? Update current hole. Don't I do it in this? Let's shrink this a little bit. Pin position tracker. Where do I update you? Not here. That's current. Not there, not there, not there, not there. So it must be in scoring, pin position, save tournament progress. Is that? Is this pin position tracker current what I'm actually using? I literally only set it there and I don't do anything else with it. Bit confused at the moment. Pin positions available, selected pin equals 1. Here, update pin tracker is based on the current hole. And the selected, same thing here, is based on the current hole, which is running. Oh, right here. updating the pin tracker with the current hole before that hole is updated. So it is equal to the previous hole. So this should just be minus 1 then, right? Let's check. When I'm updating, I'm passing current hole. If I go here, further up, just hole. So when I come back here, when I'm passing this, let's say the current hole is 1. I'm passing 1 here. It's setting it equal to 1. Come down here, previous hole is equal to 1. So instead of current hole minus 1, this needs to just be previous hole. Right? I think so. Let's give this a try. Hit it with the reset and see what we get. I think I was just on hole 1 here, right? That's all I was doing. That's working just fine. No issues there. Let's go to hole 5. Try this. Ooh, start hole 1 is not working. So that's showing the wrong thing. Let's fix that while I'm looking at it. Score input button text. Oh. So for that, we actually want to leave it as the current hole. The text we want to not update with us. Yeah. Start hole 6. Okay. That's working. Oh, man. We got through 2. $7.25. Only valid value is 0. And we got 1. $7.25. It's right here. So it's this whole display range. No, it's this part. Pin position tracker. What is I? I is equal to, okay, let's hide this a little bit. Just fixing the formatting as I go. First displayed hole. First displayed hole plus 5. So first displayed hole here is going to be 0 through 5. The issue I'm getting is here. Pin position tracker. Pin position tracker is still based on the current hole. Hole display range is based on the current hole. This should be as well. Only valid value is 0. All right. So it has to be this. This is kicking -1, which means that the pin position tracker is kicking 0. Hole display range I. I wish it would show me what I was equal to. I don't suppose I can print I here, can I? No. First displayed hole. Maybe one thing I can do to help, which is going to be minor, but let's just come here and let's print the pin position tracker. So I can at least look at that output while I'm trying to figure out what the error is. Easy, MA4. Let's start hole 5. See tier 1 round. 5 and 6. So on a hole 1, it did not print it in the right spot. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 and 6 it did. That's interesting. But it should be updating it way up here. I guess because the tournament, the hole is never equal to 1. Wow. Oh, this is tough. This is quite tough. I see what the issue is. I have no idea how to fix it yet. I'm going to run through this one more time. we're gonna try this. It still has to do with that resetting it after you go from hole 6 to hole 1 that I just haven't quite figured out yet, but I think this might do the trick. Tour life. Making the same change in tour life. The idea is that I get it to work in regular tournaments, and then tour life should just work automatically. That's the hope, at least. Let's try this. So I had changed this to equal 2 to accommodate here, but the issue is that this current hole is what affects the button, so that's why we're on hole 1, but it says 2. And it was also affecting my tracking of the pin positions. So I've created this new variable solely for use with scoring. And then ideally everything tied to this is working with it as 1. I don't know. Not fully thought out, but I think this might be a fix. Okay. Got an error sooner. Leaderboard 523. So then that one should probably be hole for scoring. And this one doesn't really matter because I am not using this anyways. There we go. Shouldn't really matter. Shouldn't affect anything, but and then I need to do the same thing up here. We go up here, we go var hole for is equal to 0. Let's make it equal to 1. It doesn't really matter. Or I guess 2 just to be safe, but again, shouldn't really matter. And then we get rid of this. And then I can use it here. Let me comment that out and let's try it again. Start a new event, easy, hole 5, 1 round. Good. 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 Don't tease me. Not quite getting the right hole finish here because we should be done. And this isn't working either. Noted. So let's go look here. If not even looking on the right file. all scores whole parse length minus 1 is not equal to that, which it shouldn't be. Print all scores. Tournament variables scores. All right, I need to print, so let's grab this again. Let's see what's going wrong there. Starting hole 5, see tier 1 round. Whole parse length minus 1. Working as intended. All scores is 5. Start hole 4. Am I already printing all scores somewhere else? I definitely am, right? Print. Let's get rid of these. I don't think they're needed. Don't need pin position tracker right now. Let's get rid of these. I will have to go test those to make sure that those are working as intended. I'm only printing it once here. Is all scores printing in here? Print. Yeah, right here. So that's what I'm printing here. If all scores whole parse length, which should be 6, let's just make it real clear here. Give me a reset. Five. See tier 1 round. This is not where these need to be. So we should have added that score. Whole parse dot length is 6. So if all scores 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not equal to that, which it shouldn't be, I guess let's erase this. Let's copy this and bring it with us. And then let's come down here. and print all scores for me. Something's not adding up. It was working when we were starting at 1. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I press hole 5, does the tournament end? It does. Okay, so I should have just tried that. This works. The button name is not working. Current hole parse. Yeah, nice. I see the issue. That I do. The reason that I added it in the first place. So here's what I need to do. We need to add player scores to this. Scores. And then we come in here, we go if, was there any other changes that I made? Let me add this in first. Scores. It's great, and then parse.length. And I think that should fix this. Were there any other? I don't think I made any other changes up here, did I? I don't think so. I'm gonna have to go test it in Tour Life anyways. So I've got the error here because I need to pass the right variable. For the scores, tournament variables dot all scores. And I think that should work. Let's do the same thing here and put tournament variables dot all scores. It's going to give you the error yet because I haven't updated the function. Here, list string scores, and then if determine tournament scores parse.length. Okay, and now let's do a little refresh, and I think with that change we might be good. There's still a few things to test, but that might be what we're looking for. Starting in hole 5, hole 6, hole 1, hole 2, hole 3, hole 4. And we got finish round. Beautiful. Next thing to test is in Maple Hill. So let's see, 853 is the distance on hole 1. Hole 11, let's go hole 13 is 472. So I'm gonna go to Maple Hill and make sure the distances are carrying over properly. 13 is what I said. 472. Trying to remember my holes out there. 15, 322 seems right. 16. Okay. Seems like we're working here. If I go edit scores, does that still work? Yes, it does. Lovely. Seems like we're working. Anything else I need to change here? If I go resume, are we still in the right spot? Yes, we are. Start hole 5. It looks like, let's go a restart and make sure that resume on a restart still works. And that was kind of my intention behind creating this determine current hole variable and function instead of just creating a new variable to track the number of holes played. Is just so that because I didn't add any new variables, all of this reloading should still be working based on the same, well, until it's not. What was the issue there? All right, that's why we test. 724. Is what, this one? Yeah. The pin position tracker is what's messing up. Whole display range is also messing up. Oh, and you know, I never did actually, I don't think I'm saving the starting hole. I think that's the issue here. I think I'm saving it, but I'm not loading it in. Saving it here. And saving it there, but I am not loading it. I'm just gonna search for wherever I am loading information in here. Yeah, and so here we need to load the starting hole in. Tournament variables dot starting hole. Starting hole key. I need to do it for this one too. Tour life tournament variables dot starting hole. Let's see what the defaults. Int. Tour starting hole key. Where else would I be loading it in? Let's save that. It would only be in the tour life main menu. Hole pars, no. I know that if I was loading in tournament information, I would have to load in the hole pars as well. So I'm trying to make sure, maybe we just check current hole. That's gonna cause an issue though. It's an interesting one to look at. Start the season if the current amount is equal to 1 and current hole is less than or equal to 1 from the main menu though. So we haven't selected a new starting hole yet. So that's actually probably fine. An event info, current hole. Where are we loading this in? Return button. I don't love that. That's good. Yep. Return button text and tour life. If current hole is greater than 1. It's not going to be what I want it to be. going to leave this in for the time being. I don't think this is worth it, but I should be loading in the right variable now. So the issue that caused this should be fixed. I was trying to look at something else there. I don't think it's just going to change the way the text is displayed, which I don't. I'm going to leave it the list. I was checking if I started a new tournament. Or not started a new tournament. If I reset the app and then try to resume progress. So we're going to come in here, 3, 1, so we're 3 down, and then let's do this. So this is basically simulating us closing the app and then restarting it. And I want to make sure that the tournament saves properly. 5, 6, 1. Hold 2. Good. Okay. So now, at least for regular tournaments, I believe starting holes work exactly as intended. Let me go check Maple Hill one more time and make sure that what I just did isn't going to affect distances at all. 400s, yep. Okay, let's do a restart and then let's immediately try to scroll and make sure that doesn't cause any issues. No, we're good. Love it. Okay, it's nice that that is finally working. I did have an issue. I'm going to load it in right now. I noticed that titles for really long tournaments were sometimes expanding past the bounds of that. So I'm going to drag this over here just so I can make a note of it. Where are we at? Here we go. We stay within the bounds of the container. Good to go. All right. Now to check tour life. Start event. 7. All right, so the hope here is that this, because I did the exact same code that I did in normal tournaments, this all works properly. Hole 8, this is not Maple Hill, this must be a different. 1254. Maybe New London or Crokel. One of the courses that I have in here. Let's take a bogey. Let's go back. So we're on hole 10. Okay, so we need to, yeah. Starting hole needs to not be an option. So the issue is that when I leave the tournament and I go back to this event info screen, the starting hole basically resets itself to 1, and then I create all kinds of issues. So I need to do a check to see if the tournament is ongoing. Presented by elevated button on pressed. And so let's just throw a little loop in here that says if I'm already tracking scores, right? I'm kind of surprised that's not in here. Tour life. This should still work. Tour life tournament variables, all scores, 0, 0 is not equal to this, meaning that the user has logged a score for at least the first hole. And actually I have that backwards, but this will basically still work. This just needs to be equal. So if the user, only if the user has not logged a score for the first hole are we doing this. actually the same thing here. And this is something that's only going to affect tour life. Starting hole, here we go. If entry fee is not paid. So this needs to be an else if tour life tournament variables dot all scores. Well, I guess I'm showing scores here, am I not? Total number of players, score totals with user, yeah. So let's just try this. 0, 0 is equal to let's try that. It is nice we're at least only coding things in tour life now, so I don't have to go back and make these changes to basic tournaments because the code doesn't exist. Okay. So it seems like we're working now. Let's go back, continue round 1. Still looks like we are working properly. Pick up the birdie, grab an ace. Let's go for the double bogey. Gonna make sure that the tournament ends properly here. Start hole 1, start hole 2, hole 3, 4, hole 5, and hole 6. Now we're finishing the round. That's good. Let me make sure I can edit scores here. Let's make this a 5. Drops to 9. Okay. 9 down. This is an example of the spacing issue. Another example. Back to menu. Let's register. Let's make sure this works again. Starting hole. Let's leave starting hole as 1 this time. And make sure this works properly, which we're on the easy course, so I can speed through this one. Seems good. Par it. Finish the round. Okay. And now let's go try one more. Sign up. Shoot. Here we go. All right, I can still back out. Let's go hole 5. Start hole 1 is showing. Why is... Okay, let's look at that. Event info. So this is right. What sets the start hole 1? Start hole, current hole, so it's passing. Score input button, current hole. So that's only equal to 1. That's the issue here. That's not being equal to 5. And why isn't it being set equal to 5? Has to be something here. I think it's because of this. I think this code is fine, it just also only needs to be here if the score hasn't been logged yet. Let's do a check on that real quick. I think that should fix the issue. Tour life, start event, hole 5, start round 1. Yeah, hole 5, hole 6, hole 1. Okay. It seems like we're working as intended. I'm always nervous just to call it a... Here we're at Maple Hill. Let's go hole 2, which is a par 3. Lovely. Everything seems to be working. And now if we go back after only one hole, no option to select a new hole. I'm trying to think. I have a hard time believing that everything is just going to work as intended, and I'm trying to think through what else could cause issues. What about playoffs? Let's go to a normal tournament and try to get a playoff and see if that creates any issues. Let's go easy, MA2. Let's start at hole 5. And here we're going to force a playoff with the AI and make sure that it works. One over. Finish round, playoff. We do start on hole 1. So I wonder if I should adjust. I don't necessarily hate leaving the playoff as hole 1. Current playoff hole is hole 1. I kind of think that's fine. I think I'm going to leave that as is. I'm fine with leaving the current playoff hole as hole 1. If a hole isn't available on the course for a playoff, then that hole shouldn't be a part of the course anyways. Like if you're going to play through the whole course, you got to play a certain hole at some point. Yeah, I'm going to leave that as is. I think I'm going to call it good. I mean, I think I've tested everything that I can think of that would mess the starting hole feature up. I can't come up with anything else. So we're going to call it there. The last thing I'm going to do is look at that spacing. So that's going to be a Safari search. Flutter, stay within safe bounds widget. Safe area widget. Here we go. Show me a safe area widget. I don't want that. Let's just go safe area widget. I just want to see it used in a code block. Here we go. Safe area. Let's try it. So let's go to the main menu here and let's wrap this in a safe area widget. And just see what it does. So the container, I want this to cover. This is actually going to work nicely if it does. Safe area. Whoa. I gotta playoff issue, but that's not going to affect us right here. My concern is that that dropped it so much that on a smaller phone I'm going to run into issues, which I can test. We can test it. So this is a great example. If I click up here, this button isn't clickable. Let's do it on the main menu. Let's do it on the settings. And then if those work, we'll try it everywhere else. I think that's where I'm at. I think we need to wrap this in a safe area. Which makes the button very clickable, which is nice. You can kind of see the issue here. I have to click the very bottom. Are there any modifiers? Well, what did I just do? Don't want to do anything there. What modifiers can I add to safe area? No such method. So these are all the properties, yeah. Key. Defaults to false. I can apply a minimum padding, which is interesting. Let's try that. Let's go minimum edge insets all. Let's make it real small. Just see if that gives me more space. It does not. 50. Gives me a ton of space. 0 is just standard, so that's not affecting top and bottom here, which is peculiar. The playoff giving me errors right now is interesting just because the playoff is not running. I do think that's close to what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to, let me remember how to do this. First, I think I need to stop running it on the simulator. And then we need to come here. And settings. No. Here we go. iPhone SE is I think as small as I can get it. And I need it on this guy. So let's come to main. Let's run it. It's going to run on this simulator, and I'm going to try to test these smaller screens and see if I'm running into bounds issues. Because what I don't want to do is cause stuff to push off the bottom edge of the screen for anyone that's on a smaller phone. That would not be good. While we're waiting for that, let me read a little bit more about the safe area here. Avoid intrusions by the operating system. Avoid the status bar at the top of the screen. X or other similar creative physical features of the display. Sliver. What is this? That one's interesting. That's still loading. Let's go back to this one. Just dynamically. Safe area widget and sets. Home stream indicator, yep. Widget price parameters. Okay. I wonder how I can change this text underneath the app icon. Let's add that to the to-do list. I think I may change it to pros or throw. I don't necessarily like TWTP for throw with the pros. It doesn't seem quite as exciting. But it's certainly an option. So my hope is that with the smaller screens, generally they don't have this issue of home button, top indicator, etc. overlapping with the screen itself. I'm hoping that it doesn't really affect these too much, and that it's just very minimal at the top. It's loading in now. I don't remember where I was actually at in this version of the app, or on this simulator. I'm like in the tutorial. It's gonna make me run through that again. This is something that I will need to check for every view. Okay, I do have everything unlocked. Safe view seems decent here. Profile is already a scroll view. Let's go and get the resume tournament button up on the screen and make sure that that's working. Okay. What do we think? I think it's working right now. So we've got the main menu, we've got settings. I probably just need to go down the list here. Which, boy, is that going to be annoying. But I think it's the only option. Refactor with a widget, safe area. And I think it is this simple of a fix. So for everyone that was having issues with this, I apologize. But we should be good to go in the next update. We'll do all the tournament views, then I'll run through that real quick, make sure that's working as intended. Always want the container to cover the whole screen, and we're just going to wrap this, all the screen content, in the safe area. Scoring doesn't do anything. Tournament creation. Factor. Safe area. It is kind of nice that I can type all of safe area with only my left hand, so I don't have to use my right hand. It's a very minor comment, but something that is kind of nice at the moment. Tournament leaderboard. This one might cause issues. wrap it in the safe area. Now let's do a restart and let's go look at all the screens. For running a tournament. We can keep testing this just for fun. This already scrolled, so we're not going to create any issues there. This is what I was worried about. So I think right now, just for the sake of not messing that up, I need to keep that off the screen. Which is not ideal. Because on this phone it's going to cause issues with me being able to hit the back button, I think. I haven't run the new code on this phone, I guess. It's hard to hit the back button. I don't think I can lower it any. Because I'm already pushing the bounds so much here. Alright, I think leaderboard needs to stay the same. Picked the wrong course, evidently. I was going to try to force a playoff here. That was my goal. Oh, nothing there. Everything looks good here. Everything looks good here. Okay, tournament finish stats. Let's give us a little bit of padding here. Wrap with padding only. Left 4.0, right 4.0. Let's go do the same thing in tour life. We'll wrap this in padding. Copy that same line here. Only 4.0 on the left and right. And then I'm going to have to come up with a different solution for this back button. I'm thinking maybe I just throw it next to the title. That's certainly an option. That might be the only option that I have, actually. At least for right now. Let's look at that. So let's come here, go to test course, we'll get that screen up, and then I want to throw this back button next to it. So on the leaderboard, we've got the back button here, and then we've got this. So I think what we do is we decrease the font size, decrease the width factor, and throw it up there in that row. So let's try this. We're going to go times, let's go 0.6. So we're going from 0.8 to 0.6. Let's lower this to 20. And then we're going to copy the entire sized box into here. Let's comment out the spacer. Let's see how that looks. Terrible. What did I not like there? Oh, I think it's the infinity. Screen size, screen width. one does work, but not really. Does it not like me setting a width there? Main axis size min. Width factor. 0.6. Seems like this could work. I'm not sure where the box went though. Is that too small? That's much closer. Why does it get so small? That's what I don't know. Is that really 0.6? About 0.8. It's closer. It just looks kind of tacky at the moment. I think we're going to leave the leaderboard with the same issue at the moment. Give me the redo there. Yeah. So I'm going to leave this one as is. And I'm going to add it to my to-do list to figure out how to incorporate a safe area onto this. In tour life, safe. Okay. So we covered all of these. I did not look at a playoff. So let's go look at the playoff screen and make sure that still looks okay. They're gonna start bogeying, right? No? Gonna start birdieing? There we go. Big playoff. Playoff screen looks good. No going back in the playoffs, that's fine. Finish the playoff, we finished in second, go back. Okay. So these are all good. Let's go to courses now. This is up a little bit higher. So let's copy these in. Factor, safe area. Do the exact same thing again for these. Then we'll go make sure that everything looks as it should. Info right here. Yeah, this will work. Safe area, courses menu. Safe area. Edit course, be a safe area. Actually, this needs to be in the safe area. Safe area, there we go. And global courses will be here. Let's save there. It's really not changing much on this, which I guess is intended. Probably use a little bit less spacing here. How does it look on this one? They're pretty close together on this one. So let's do on the courses menu, the spacing here. Sized box height 10. Why is the spacing so big? Expanded list view, shrink wrap true, children. For each one, we've got a row. Outline button. Course pressed is equal to course. Child row. With that text. Height is only set to 10. I wonder why it looks. Is it just because this phone is actually like this big? Is that really how much bigger that phone is than this? I don't think so. It could be. I'm just confused as to why the gap between these is so much bigger. Anyways. So here we need to make sure this still works. Yeah. Global list, yeah, this is the issue we're going to run into. Dang it. That list can be much smaller. So let's go to global courses. That's why we're doing this. Get these issues out of the way now. The list view, we're just going to make it smaller here. This is actually, I want the list to be smaller. So why is it not? Scroll directions, vertical shrink wrap is true. I'm not sure how this was working previously. Global courses. Text field, height is 30. Maybe we just take this out. The list is still overflowing by an absurd amount. Is the safe area somehow messing this up? No, it's just expanding past the bottom. So maybe this was never working. Is that what I'm getting at right now? On the courses menu, how did I confine it? I wrapped it in and expanded. Let's try that. That'll look a little cleaner anyways. Let's add another box here. So I was intending to do one thing, and now I'm just kind of updating the whole view, but that'll look a little nicer. Let's go to the edit courses view and make sure that still looks okay. Looks like it does. Let's add a course. This was scrolling, so this was gonna work anyways. I wonder why the safe area is differing so much on these. Is it because I haven't saved it yet? Info, just it drops it so much here. Why is that the case? I should be able to get rid of this, right? Shouldn't need the spacers anymore. But I don't know why that big gap is there. I don't know. But I do think that I'm about ready to call it for the stream. And I'll go through and update a lot of this spacing after the fact. Let's see what the review screen looks like. See, and it's way up here. Because I haven't saved it yet. Yeah. I wonder what makes like one lower or higher than the other, because the safe area shouldn't change. Again, this can probably go away. And then that goes back up. That's where this back button should be, and it's not. So it's got to be something with wrapping it in this single child scroll view. Maybe if I throw a spacer on it, that just seems silly. There's a chance I already have one. I don't. Let's see if this does anything. Did something. Okay. That don't work. Why? So that's where this one is. And that one's even higher. Like they're all in different spots. It's like the safe area is changing size. All right, I'm gonna have to go look at that after the fact, but that's gonna be the general idea, is trying to make it so these back buttons are more accessible on larger screens without overcrowding the smaller screens. We'll see how that works. We got starting holes in. Today's Monday. Once I get this spacing fixed for every view, I'll be submitting update number 1 to Apple. As of right now, we can actually, well, I don't know if I want to show that on screen. I don't know what information it has. As of today, we had still maintained 20 testers on Android. So that's 7 days. So we're halfway there. We need 7 more days and I can submit. Update number 1 will be coming out before Android launch, but Android launch will include all of this code. So everything that I'm adding in updates for Apple Android users will have at launch. But yeah, that's probably going to be the last stream for update number 1. Update number 2 is going to include a couple bigger things. I think the most notably is going to be me trying to add match play into the app. I'll be coding that live. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks to everyone who's downloaded the app so far on iOS. It's been a pretty substantial number compared to what I was expecting, which is great. So thank you for that. Hopefully all the discount codes that I sent out are working. If they're not, let me know. I'll get you a new one. Yeah, I think we'll call it there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the